Well, good day. This is Bill Boerum, and today I am with Sharon Tennison, whom I've known for a number of years, actually, and very been familiar with her work and an admirer of her work. And I wanted to give the opportunity to Sharon to talk to a wider audience, although she's addressed many audiences in many forums over the years. So Sharon is with and is the founder of the Center for Citizens Initiative, and which is involved in conducting tours. So Sharon, thanks for joining me today. Why don't you describe for our viewers the work that you've been doing?
Well, first, I want to say thank you, Bill, for providing this opportunity, another way for us to be able to talk about what's going on between our country and Russia. It's so important today. But as far as what CCIs do, we were a tour group in the beginning. I think we were the first, we're the only tour group in the 80s. Different people were going, but we were the only ones that did it routinely every month. And so that program lasted until 1989. And at that time, we started doing, everybody else dropped out of the field. And we started doing programs to try to help Russians understand how to democratize, to do private business, make private businesses, anything that they had missed out on when they were in the Soviet Union. And so in '89, we brought the first delegate over to California, actually, and put him in an architectural firm to see whether he could find out how to build an architectural firm in Moscow. It was a huge success. And so with that, we started a whole program of bringing as many Russians as we could individually to America. Then we said, this is too good to do it individually. We've got to do it in groups. And so that we started doing it for groups of 13 people, and we would bring them over to different states. Now they were altogether about 6,000 of those entrepreneurs from 71 regions that came to the US, studied, went back home, and then built their businesses. And I have to tell you, I have been in many of those cities and I've seen their businesses. They still attribute that trip to the United States as the thing that made them have the nerve to go ahead and do what they did in those early days in Russia. So that was one program. Then also early on, we saw that alcoholism was such a problem. And so we said, what can we do? And finally, we got in touch with, or someone got in touch with us from AA and said, can you take us to the Soviet Union? We know they have a problem, but we want to celebrate this anniversary of our founders, 50th anniversary, actually. And I said, sure, or we said. And so then we started doing that. We did it once, and then it was so successful that we did it over and over and over. And now then AA is established all across Russia as a result. So we were always looking for a program that would be able to create cooperation and goodwill between the two countries. And we've created probably 10 of those programs altogether, including several environmental programs. One was the rehab of the Lake Baikal Basin. These were huge programs, but this time USAID and State Department had seen what we were doing and they wanted to play. And so we were able to start getting a lot of grants from them. And I have to tell you that we handled their grants exactly like we handled fundraising grants here in our country with the foundations that first supported us. So our history has been, and we've been an anomaly in the field because we converted ourselves to whatever needed to happen at the time. And I have to tell you, it's the most exciting part of my life. I've enjoyed this tremendously. And now I go back and visit these people all across the country and see what they're doing. And also it started Rotary in Russia, because most of these delegates that came, business delegates that came, were hosted by Rotary clubs. And the Rotary Club then would go out to, say in Cincinnati, would go out and find different types of companies that would train that specific delegation in, say, different types of businesses. And then they were always hosted at Rotary clubs every week. And so they saw this and they said, when they got back home, they said, we need Rotary clubs. So in different cities, they started then just.
Well, I know that's been important over there with the Rotaries, because I've talked to some people in Rotary in Russia,
Yeah,
and it's a
absolutely.
highly valued organization.
It really is. And that goes all the way across the country out to Vladivostok on the East Coast.
Right. It's very, very extensive. Well,
Yeah.
I learned something today about your involvement with Rotary, which is, boy, that's fantastic. So
Yeah.
you
Well,
have
I'm a
been
Rotarian.
you, so you've been engaged in exchanges, therefore, in effect,
We have.
or and social service work, the alcoholism program, and then encouraging small business entrepreneurism, quite clearly,
That was the
and being
largest
very
program.
flexible to
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah. Huge program.
Yeah. So, how long have you been engaged in this type of work, starting from the time that you were working, conducting tours? How long have you been doing this?
Well, we all told it's 37 years.
37 years.
Yeah.
Well, sounds like you're still going strong.
Well, we hope right now we're specializing in trips, taking large numbers of Americans to Russia to investigate what is Russia today, because our propaganda in our newspapers is so bad, and it doesn't give a clue about what's going on inside the country. And
Right.
so what we do is take a group, the next group will be in September. Ambassador Jack Matlock will co-lead it with me, and we will plan to go to 30 to 40 different cities in the middle of that trip. First, we go to Moscow, where we meet with 10 experts, Russian experts, and they will answer questions that we have asked them to answer before we even get there. And so they know what we want to know. They're not free to say what they want to say. Well, they are free to say what they want to say, but they must address the questions that we ask.
Right.
So that's the first part in Moscow. It's 5 days, and then we all go to airports on that fifth day, and then they fly out in dyads and triads and singles to different places all across the country with questionnaires and interview possibilities that will define about 50 different ideas that we want to gain from them when they come back. And so we had even one woman alone that went out to Yakutia. Now this is 11 time zones away. She
Right.
didn't know a soul out there. They didn't know her, but all of a sudden she was landed and they took care of her, and she started questioning and looking around and getting information.
Well, that's I have been to that um, region,
Yeah,
the Sakha Republic
yeah,
and Yakutia. I've
yeah.
been to the capital city,
Wow, most people haven't. This is
Yakutsk,
unusual.
right? And they're very welcoming people.
Oh yeah,
Uh, right
yeah.
now, of course, they're in a very severe winter, sometimes regarded as the coldest city in
Yeah.
the world. That's how bad it is there. Well, that's incredible that you have that approach. Now, after people are dispersed or deployed, it sounds like, do they reassemble in Moscow for a debriefing?
No, they reassemble in St. Petersburg. They
Oh, isn't that
into
smart?
St. Petersburg, and then we sit we don't see all the beautiful palaces and everything that's at St. Petersburg has. We sit in a conference room for a full day, and we go around a circle, and everybody hears what everybody else experienced wherever they were. And so if they've been a dyad, then those two sit together. If there's a triad, those three sit together. But then even amongst the two or three, they had different impressions of what different ones of them picked up and saw. And so we get a multi-picture of what is actually going on in Russia today, what they think, how they feel, what they don't like, what they do like, what their schools are like, what the universities are like. We spend a lot of time with youth also in the regions. And so it's a 360-degree
Just
download.
that is outstanding. I've never
Yeah.
heard of anything like that,
It's never
for
been
any
done
country.
before. It's never been.
Right.
We like doing things first.
That's right. Yeah. Now, how long is the trip from the time you assemble in Moscow until you disperse in St. Petersburg? How long
It's
is this period of time?
15 to 16 days.
15 to
Actually,
16.
I make it such that some people can only travel for 10, very few. But if they travel for 10, of course, they leave at the end of Moscow. No. At 10, they leave at the end of, they live at the first day of St. Petersburg. I'm sorry.
Right.
And then the regular keeps on and does a really good tour of, not tour, but into all sorts of businesses and everything in St. Petersburg.
This is
And
outstanding.
And then Rotary clubs, there's everybody is alerted in St. Petersburg. Of course, I have a place there, so I know that city like I know
Right.
my own city.
Well, this sounds so good. How
So,
can I sign up? What do people, myself and others who are viewing this, uh, what do we do?
well, you just tell me you want to have an application, and then I take a look at your application and see how, how it fits in with us. Yeah,
Right.
no, seriously. Get
Well,
your
yeah, I've
application.
been doing a study and conducting a lot of interviews with civil society in
Uh-huh,
Russia.
great.
So I've got to swing back into that. I was doing some other things the last few weeks, but swing back into that. Um, and that's how I came to know that Rotary was established and thriving in
Oh,
Russia.
yeah, yeah.
And thanks to you.
Well, thanks to those entrepreneurs that went home and took the idea.
Right. No,
It
that's
was
great.
great. But
Well,
Senate,
let's see. Let me say to anyone who's viewing this, I'm sure you will not object, but if they are interested, they could send an email to Sharon, Sharon,
mhm,
Sharon at ccisf.org.
mhm,
Sharon at ccisf.org. Is
right.
that right?
That's right.
All right. Well, that's fantastic. Well, great to speak with you today and have the opportunity to talk about this incredible work. And I really did, um, you know, learn something new about what you're doing. And it's absolutely outstanding, fantastic in terms of bettering relations between the countries and really helping people, as you've indicated. And I take it that people who would be going on this tour would be from, or this visit, I should say, from throughout the United States, correct?
Throughout, in Canada.
Oh,
Yeah.
in Canada, right?
Mhm. Well, we will take them even from Europe, and I've had one person apply from Europe.
Right.
But everybody needs to know what's going on, because generally the propaganda that we have out is the same wherever you go. It's, you know, picked up by all the newspapers, and so
Right.
we have to get a better understanding of where Russia is, what it intends, whether it's ready to be open with us and cooperate with us, which it is. But we never get this from our media, never.
Right. That is very true. But my experience in a few trips over there is that the Russian people are very receptive. I've had tremendous experiences over there. They're receptive, they're friendly, and and you are fostering that work. So, well, thank you very much, Sharon.
Thank you,
Thanks very
Bill.
much for visiting with you. And I think we have to have another conversation on the topic of the importance of these visits.
I'd love to. You want to have it now or later?